Standards identified in these activities have been adopted from the content standards of the national organization for each discipline. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The class is reviewing and critiquing a previous HyperStudio project. As part of the project, the students used the internet and other sources to research the geography, climate, and history of Iowa. They then incorporated their research into a HyperStudio project entitled Smile Across Iowa.
This is the crucial part. How are we going to organize this? Last time we had about 6 different areas here of reports. We had the trivia, the graphs, the fun facts, the artwork. But this time we're going to have some different kinds of material to work with. How are we going to set it out?
The project implemented English Language Arts Standard Number 8, which requires that the students use a variety of technological and information resources to gather and synthesize information and create and communicate knowledge.
What we decided to do, I think, was put only so many cards on one stack. And how many we were trying to keep it to? We're trying to keep it down to, you guys remember how many cards it was? 10 to 15? Okay, think about that for this time too. Okay, go to Gallery 1. Okay, how did that transfer? How's that look? What do you think? Kurt?
All right.
Okay, it's not very good, is it? Remember the Macintosh version was nice and crystal clear. The PC version didn't transfer as well. So what could we do differently to make this good on both platforms? Can you think of some solution?
The project also implemented English Language Arts Standard Number 12, which requires students to use spoken, written, and visual language to accomplish their own purposes. The students burned their HyperStudio presentation onto CD-ROM so that they could teach parents, teachers, peers, and other members of the community what they learned about Iowa. The new class project integrates English Language Arts Standard Number 4, which involves adjusting the use of visual and written language to communicate effectively with a variety of audiences. The teacher asks the students to list the ways that they can improve on their previous HyperStudio presentation.
Okay, Josh.
Maybe the words may be a little bigger, like, because maybe you can't see them like as easy as if they're bigger.
So larger font size. Okay, good. Because I think we found as we were looking at it on a computer, it was okay.
To implement these changes, the students designate groups that will work exclusively on the storyboard, on the layout of the HyperStudio cards, and on proofreading the reports that will be included in the presentation. These groups will make sure that the format, images, and text in the HyperStudio presentation will communicate their information effectively.
Storyboard, cover, scanners, what else? Nick?
Probably the people who like take the videos and actually put it on the CD-ROM thing.
Okay, we're gonna call those card makers. They're gonna actually make the cards and insert the text that you type in. So we'll call them the card makers, and they'll insert the text, insert the graphics, insert the video. Okay.
Maybe the editors who just kind of check everything over and make some improvements.
Okay, I've got some people in mind to be some of these editors, so there will be some editors to check, and we're going to get those in just a minute.
The class project integrates Social Studies Standard 2, Early Grades D, which involves using various sources for reconstructing the past. The students must use various digital and analog information sources to research notable people in history. They include their research in the new HyperStudio presentation. The students incorporate maps, photographs, and drawings to add visual appeal and help clarify the written material. One group of students is given the task of editing the history reports that will be included in the HyperStudio presentation. They must proofread each report, checking for errors in spelling, punctuation, and usage.
And you're the proofreaders right now. If they're done, you can say to Roxanne, okay, they're ready to type. Okay? So kind of just swap over. If you say anything, you can talk to Jed and say, is this word right, or whatever. Okay? And why don't we make this? Can you make that up?
The students must then type the reports as Microsoft Word documents. This group's task integrates English Language Arts Standard Number 6, which involves applying knowledge of language structure and language conventions, as well as media techniques to create and critique print texts. Another group of students is designated to burn the HyperStudio presentation onto CD-ROM.
This is like the thing you have to put it in when you put it in the burner. And these are CDs that hold 650 megabytes, and it's $2. Put it in the airway. There you go. Put it in. And then you just click create CD, and then you gotta give it a minute to
Boot up.
yeah, realize that it's there. It's like up to there. And then you just hit start recording, and it'll burn your CD.
All of the groups will view the final project to verify that each component of the project is incorporated correctly. The CD-ROM will be available for parents, teachers, students, and other members of the community. The culmination of the project thus addresses English Language Arts Standard No. 8, which requires that students use a variety of technological resources to gather and synthesize information and to communicate knowledge.